Hello everybody, meteorologist Jacob Campbell here for your WeatherNow forecast for Tuesday and Wednesday. Before I get started, I want to say please go find me on Twitter at WeatherNow7. If there's ever an update to the weather that I didn't get in a video, I'll typically draw up a map and then post it on my Twitter page, so go ahead and check that out. So anyway, I do have a few announcements for the end of the video, but for now, let's get into the weather. And I apologize, this is probably gonna... Nope, there we go. So, when we look at the day on Tuesday, we have this area of just really kind of rainy and stormy weather throughout much of the Midwest, the Great Lakes, and then part of the Central Plains, which is bad news for some farmers out there in the Central Plains who are already underwater. This has been a very, very wet season for a lot of you. And so if you live in, states such as North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, or even these states bordering the Mississippi River, it has been very rainy and it's just going to continue for the next few days. And then we have these little spotty areas out to the west, Seattle, Portland, and then just northwest of Sacramento, you all are in for some lighter rain, whereas if you live to the east of that, throughout parts of central to eastern Oregon, parts of southeastern Washington, and then through Idaho and Montana, some moderate rainfall. Same with the Wyoming, Idaho, southern Montana, South Dakota, and Nebraska area. We have another system down here in the Texas area that's going to be bringing rain to New Mexico, just to the south and to the both east and west of Albuquerque. And then we also are going to see rain down here along the Gulf Coast. These areas such as Pensacola and then other cities and towns that may lie right here on the border of the Gulf of Mexico, you may also see some rain in the day on Tuesday. It's not really showing up in the models right now, but it is very close to the coast, so it wouldn't be unheard of for you guys to get some rain with, the system being so close. Orlando, Miami, you guys are going to get some rain. If you live to the east of Ohio, you're going to, in like Pennsylvania, if you live in West Virginia and part of Virginia, and pretty much all the way over to Massachusetts and Vermont, including Rhode Island and Connecticut, you guys are in for some light rain. Whereas if you live in this Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, and part of Massachusetts, so Boston's not included in this, you guys are in for some mixed precip. Essentially, it's going to drop down and it's going to get pretty cold during the nighttime hours. And so the rain that you guys will see in the morning to midday hours in the day on Tuesday will eventually transition over to mixed precip as temperatures get to near the freezing point. If you live in the higher elevations of the Rockies around Denver, you guys are also in for a little bit of mixed precip, just feeding off of this system that's hovering over Texas. You guys have a front up there that is going to help produce some mixed precip, and so essentially you guys are just kind of cold because you're in the more mountainous regions and the higher elevations, and so a lot of the rain that you guys see will probably be mixed in with a little bit of snow. I've already talked about that, so moving on to the next slide. Oh, I forgot to put in transitions. That's lovely. Okay, so anyway, we do see a significant portion of this, Great Lakes and Midwest and Central Plains area dry up quite a bit, which is very good news because you guys don't need the rain. However, at some of these river sources to the north, you guys are still going to get some rain. In North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, and Wisconsin, and even part of the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, you guys are in for some more moderate rain, whereas if you live in this little band... I forgot to fill that in. If you live in this little band of Michigan here, you guys are going to be in for a little bit of light rain. Same with if you live in the majority of Pennsylvania, New Jersey, part of New York, and part of Connecticut, maybe a little sliver here of Massachusetts. You guys are in for some light rain. That system that was in Texas has pushed a little bit to the east, and so parts of southern Indiana, southern Illinois, parts of Missouri, pretty much all of Tennessee and most of Kentucky, northern parts of Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia, you all are going to be in for some more moderate rainfall. Same with the southern and eastern Texas. as well as Florida. Once again, you guys are in for some more rain, and then little spotty areas of the New Mexico, Colorado area. And then that area that we saw mixed precip yesterday is still going to be there for the Denver area, although it's going to expand a little northward and a little more eastward than it was on Tuesday. And so a larger swath is going to most likely see some mixed precipitation in Colorado. In Maine, a lot of that mixed precip has now moved out, and so the New England area is going to see a bit of a warmer day and a bit of a warmer night, as well as that precipitation for the most part moving out. If you live near the coast in Maine, you're going to see light rain as opposed to mixed precipitation. But if you live up here near this city here, I can't exactly read the name. My eyesight is not the best. You are in for some just light mix. Same if you live in the higher elevation areas of Eastern California and Western Nevada. You guys are in for some mixed precip as well. Then if you live basically in northern Nevada, stretching all the way over here to Montana, you guys are going to have some bit heavier rain. And then if you live along the coast, pretty much the entire coast down to Los Angeles, you guys are in for some lighter rain. So moving on to, this is the NAM model for, this is the 12Z run for today, Monday. And so we see that these areas up here in the Maine and the New England area, as the system pushes up, we do see some mixed precip start to kind of fold into these storms as during the nighttime hours as the cold sector kind of wraps in. And as it pushes north. The reason that I don't have New York under that mixed precip for Tuesday is because the NAM run is the only one that's actually showing that mixed precip. It's not on the GFS model, nor is it on the HRRR model. So I'm keeping New York clear of the mixed precip. But just some heavier rain out here in the New England area. Let's let it restart here for a second. And so we see some of that rain here in Texas that we were talking about, as well as this rain in Florida. And this was the, give me a second. It's going to restart here. Yep. And so you see how the rain started kind of pretty close to Mississippi, Alabama, and the Florida Panhandle. And so that's the reason why I said, if you live on the coast of the Gulf of Mexico, you could be in for a little more rain. And so I'm just going to take a second and stay silent so that you can take a look at this to see when the rain might be moving into your area. All right. So moving on to high temperatures in the day on Tuesday. I apologize that I didn't put the markers down here to tell you what day it is, but you can look up here and see Tuesday, the 14th of May, 2019. And then you can tell what day it is. So we do see the cooler temperatures out here in the New England area. Sorry, I lost my words there for a second. With some temperatures here in New Hampshire, and as well as parts of Maine getting down into the 30s, whereas the remainder of the New England area is going to be pretty much in the 40s and 50s. And then the majority of the rest of the country is fairly warm. As you get down to the Appalachian Mountains, it's really where that cutoff for the 40s and 50s is. But unless you live in a really elevated area, such as down here through Washington, Oregon, and California, or here in the Rockies, it's going to be a pretty nice day for a lot of you. Temperatures in the midsection of the country, the Great Plains, you guys are going to see temperatures reaching the mid-80s, low to mid-80s. If you live out here in the Great Lakes in the Midwest, it's going to be somewhere between the 60s and the 70s, so a pretty nice spring day for those of us here in Indiana. It's been pretty cold lately, so it's nice to see a bit of a warm-up. Florida, going to be hovering around the low to mid-80s. Same with parts of California. Then if you live out here in Southern California and in Southern Arizona, you're going to see temperatures start to reach up to 100. And then up the coast, up the west coast, you're also going to see some warmer temperatures in the 50s and 60s. Moving on to lows on Tuesday, once again, Tuesday, May 14th, we see that cold air that I was talking about that's going to kind of channel into this New England area. And so that's what's going to bring the mixed precip. It's not quite freezing, but it's very close. And as you go higher up in the atmosphere, in the troposphere at least, it cools down. So you've got cooler air sitting on top of a bit of warmer air near the surface, which is going to help sustain not only the rainfall, but also sustain some snowflakes that could come down with the rain. We also see this area in the Rocky Mountains. It's getting down into the 20s, and that's what's also going to trigger the mixed precip for you guys as well. We do see an area here in the Midwest, the Ohio River Valley, the Great Lakes region, mainly in northern Indiana and Michigan. It's going to get a little chilly, maybe down into the 30s and 40s for you guys. And then for the most part, we're seeing 50s and 60s for a lot of the country. And so it's going to be a bit of a chillier night, but not a whole lot to write home about. So moving on to Wednesday, we have temperatures in the Great Plains. These are high temperatures. It's Wednesday the 15th. Warmer temperatures once again here in the Great Plains, and hopefully that will help you guys dry out a little bit as a little bit of warmer and drier air kind of comes in. It may not feel drier from all of the evaporation that's happening from the rainfall that you guys have had, but that being said, it will... Sorry about that. That was my dog. Overall, it should be a bit of a drier day for you guys. Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, you guys are all going to be in the low to mid 80s, and that pretty much extends for the majority of that region. As you move into the Midwest and the Ohio River Valley area, as well as the Great Lakes region, going to be in the high 60s to low 70s. New England area still staying a little cool with temperatures in the 40s and 50s. And Florida still warm. Southern California, Arizona still warm. West Coast cools down a little bit as that system moves in, the rainy system that's going to bring a lot of the rain to the West Coast. Some areas of coastal Oregon and Washington are going to cool down from, they were solid 60s on Tuesday to 50s and 60s on Wednesday. Moving to low temperatures, once again, that cold air that's kind of sitting here over Maine is going to trigger some mixed precipitation up there. We also see these cooler temperatures in that California area I was talking about earlier, with temperatures in the 30s. It's going to trigger some of the mixed precip for that area, as well as that area in Colorado that we were talking about earlier. Rest of the country is a little on the chilly side, but we do see those 60s creep up a bit further than they did Tuesday night. So spring is... it's been officially here for a while, but it's going to start feeling like spring for a majority of the country now that the weather is finally starting to stabilize a little bit. So, the announcements I wanted to make. First of all, after June 18th, I will be posting some educational videos as well as some weather terminology videos that you might hear us using. Me and David Schlotthauer, or other weather YouTubers for that matter, that you may hear us using just to kind of, get you in the loop, because we don't want to make it so basic that you're not really, pulling anything significant out of these videos, but we also don't want to make it too complex that somebody who isn't actively studying the weather won't understand. And then also for some of my younger viewers, it may be helpful so that you can start to understand these concepts before you really get into college. Kind of give you a head start. So the second announcement that I have is I am currently working on remaking some graphics. Hopefully soon I will have animated backgrounds, so this won't look so bland and stale. I kind of want to make it look a little bit like a local weather forecast, although it'll be the entire country. And yeah, I believe that was all the announcements that I had. So I hope that you all enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope that you all have a fantastic Monday night. Thank you all and have a great day.